So now that we are recording, as I was saying, I was just talking with Dave this morning after talking to him a few days ago. There's lots of things going on. I did not ask him about his experience at the Consciousness Expo in LA. He was there. And how many of you, Robin, do you know Mary Edwards? Have you met her?
I believe I've met her, but I don't know her.
Yeah, Mary's about my age. She's been around for a while. Her family background is incredible. Who her father was and what he did is incredible. And what she's been through is also remarkable. And she's another person who's had this all tamped down all her life. Can't talk about it, won't talk about it. And I'm not going to go into the details of that. But Mary and our paths crossed while we were in Shasta because she was there last year. And when I saw her being interviewed by, Apollo, I just assumed that she'd been in this community and she'd had these experiences and she's been sharing them for a while. No, that was like one of her first interviews. And it's just time for her to start to, it's all going to start to come out. So she's already had a podcast channel. Lots of people know her for other reasons. She's a pretty fantastic designer and has done incredible work. There'll be times that we're all going to get to spend with Mary as that's kind of unfolding. But I'm going to sit with her on her podcast on Monday and kind of unveil that some more. And then I want to invite her to come over here and kind of unveil, because in the 40 minutes I talked to her the other day, just to kind of prep for Monday, Mary goes like this. And there's just so much that just needs to pour out of her that, I was the first vessel. So I kind of took it all in, measured up the energy there. But it's no surprise that, she and Dave had not connected before. She was at the conference too, so she'll have some perspectives of, who she saw there and what she experienced. But she said the energy was crazy. Not surprised by any of that. We'll just see where that goes. But part 2 with Dave is coming up. So I think it'll probably be released. I found out his birthday is March 9th. So sometime between now and then, Dave and I are going to put the next stage of whatever we left off on and what's to come next. We'll do that between now and then. And then, I didn't appreciate this process on YouTube. And Sherry Dibban uses it really effectively. So instead of having live broadcasts like this, which is wonderful, and I will continue to do these because here's where you actually get to exchange. And I'm not so much a host as whoever is stepping up next with the information that they're just compelled to push. That's what this is for. And the replays have been wonderfully beneficial. But I can appreciate sitting down, and we can still do this as the session. And then when we release it to YouTube, we do it on a particular day and a particular time, and we can all sit in and premiere it. I get that. I didn't really put any more thought into it, any more than, there's a Capricorn in me. You saw that little clip that I put together of my experiences that looked like a little movie. Oh, yeah. I have the ability to do that stuff, but that's not my jam. It's not my jam. I love it when it's done, and I like the impression that leaves. But you can see these replays are unedited. Yes, I don't have something that's a trailer, and I don't have a closer, and I have no sponsors I have to worry about. That's not what this is for. When we get to do that, all I was ranting for is the resources that are showing up. That's what Michaela does. She's a freaking amazing videographer. And she's got a friend that's an amazing composer. I saw just a little ditty that the two of them had done. And oh my God, it was powerful and compelling. Is it like 28 minutes long, Michaela? Is that about right?
Yes, it is something less than half an hour. Yeah.
Wow. It was incredible. So when I think of who's going to help me tell this next level of the story, look at all these people that are showing up that got gifts that, man, I know what I want to do, but that's not my thing. Here comes Michaela. Here comes Darian. Yeah, there's other pieces that seem to be showing up. And when I see them show up and where they fit in, it just makes my heart grow a little bit more. So
Yes.
I'll just start where you can go anywhere you want after that. But one of the things that Dave and I both shared is, anybody have any energetic kind of bolts in the last day or so? Yeah, because yesterday there was an X-class flare that actually stayed there for a while. And
yeah, I've had some intense energy to the fact that I had a TIA on Wednesday, Thursday. So I actually just got out of the hospital. Yeah. So I've been having major downloads. So I've actually just got out of bed. So yeah. So the intense
we're gonna have to
download
sidebar.
the intense downloads and energy that has been coming through, and then my journey last night with the angelics. I had a very intense journey last night, and the vibration that was coming in past that, and my healing last night was amazing. And I actually looked back at my body because I was vibrating and I was hearing. First, I heard hello, and I was like, hello, and then I heard all this language that I don't speak, because I speak light language, but I don't speak this language. And I was hearing all of this language. And I was started giggling and laughing, and I'm vibrating, and I vibrate intensely anyways, but I was vibrating and like going away. And I wanted to see what was happening to my body. So I looked back, and there was a bundle of lights, the only way I could explain it as a ball of Christmas lights that wasn't entangled yet at my feet, that were all blue. And it wasn't, the green ugly light string. It was, like the fiber optic strand you could see, and then blue lights everywhere. And it was like a bundle of them, and they were feeding my body. And I just vibrated away. And then I could see this sheen that wrapped the universe. And there was all of this geometry and shapes and all of this thing, and I could see it and I could touch it, and it was just wrapped all over, and it was see-through, and it was shining and shimmery and all over the place. And I was vibrating, and I was giggling and laughing, and all of this energy was happening. And then all of a sudden I was back in my bed. That was this morning or middle of the night, and it was quite wild. I don't know how long I was gone, but that was after my TIA. I did a healing session last night with a friend in my soul group to recalibrate both of my hemispheres. And as we did that, I could feel and taste and see fire. And they were weaving the areas of the bleeding through my brain. And then they were wrapping my hemispheres, and they wrapped the right and left with a mesh gold cloth. There's a gold cloth across the top of my skull, wrapping right and left back together. And it brought the energy that was coming from the left over to the right, so they would communicate back and forth, and wrapped everything. And then they wrapped my entire left side of my face, because I can't feel the left side of my face all the way. And my left hand wasn't functioning right. And then they wrapped me in a bandage and then put me to sleep.
When did that take place? When was the actual TIA?
I had a really bad headache. It was Saturday or Sunday. It started last Thursday. I had a migraine, but I get migraines all the time. But I woke up Wednesday morning and everything was vibrating. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? I couldn't walk. I was moving all over the place. I took everything I could to get to the post office and back. And my whole world was just wobbling. Woo, woo, woo. And I went and laid down and I thought, well, I'm just going to do some breath work and some meditation. I knew I was getting a lot of downloads. I knew something was happening. I did some breath work and I fell asleep. And then I don't know how long I was awake or asleep. And I woke up and I was like, okay, that was really weird. Where did I go? And that was the first thought to my head was, where did I go? And I got up and nothing was right still. And then I laid down and I went back to sleep. And then it was morning and I needed to go to work. It's funny, as I'm talking, my face is vibrating. I woke up and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I got up at 5 and it's funny because I woke up and I reached for my phone. As I reached for my phone, my alarm went off and I went, it's interesting. And got up, got in a shower, and I couldn't stand up straight still. So I called the doctor that I work for. I called them and I can't. So there's something wrong with me. So I went. One of the girls that I work with came and got me and took me to the hospital. But yeah, I was having TIA, and but the angels were telling me I was having downloads and things were coming in so quickly. And because of my brain surgery and all the other things that have happened to me, it was coming so rapidly. It was not moving the way it was supposed to. So it was affecting me.
It's almost like your system has been refined to a point where, you can accept those downloads at a pretty good clip now. But as we all know, they've been coming at a clip that we're not ready for yet. And so I'm not surprised that you didn't have some kind of here it manifested in physical form as a TIA. I'm always curious about your story because that's how I equate when this triggering began with me. It was when I had my own TIA.
Yeah.
And that's when all those symptoms that you just described about feeling like, whoa, and you're like connected to some kind of electromagnetic something or other, and you're just part of the charge as it comes and goes. Yeah, that's very familiar to me. And so it's good that you talk about that so that other people that begin to have those things, don't freak out. Sometimes that's the way that the universe gets your attention. A TIA, it can be a serious thing. Mine was a blockage in my carotid artery just here. It's normal, they say, when you reach this stage of your life to have the 30 to 40% blockage. It's normal, and you can still live a healthy life that way. But when it gets to be 85% or so, that's not a good thing. So in order for this physical vessel to continue on, I needed to have somebody go in there. That's the first time I'd had invasive surgery ever, except for a knee surgery that I had to have a replacement. But other than that, this body has existed on the way that the universe has provided for it all along. Didn't put anything in there. Don't really feel like it. Just not it. If it's not already in here, then I shouldn't introduce something that came out of a laboratory to maintain my body, and that works for me. I feel healthier than I've ever felt in my whole life. And I just kind of feel like I've almost put it on autopilot.
Yeah. Fortunately, I knew the doctor that worked there. My daughter used to work with them. And so as I'm telling him, my energy is all over the room and flowing back and forth because he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, well, my energy is just floating around the room. It's not actually in my body. And he's like, okay. And he actually said, so you're like your essence. So he kind of understood what I was talking about. And they hooked me up to electrical. I had all these cords all over me. And I said, once you did that, I can feel the electrical current going from me to the wall, me to the wall, me to the wall. And I'm feeling all of this. And I said, I can taste metal running through my brain and back, through my brain and back. And they're like, what the heck are
You know what
talking?
that taste from an electrical charge is like, I'm the kind that'll do that with a 9-volt battery to see if it's still good. Remember that taste, if you've ever, you've done that, that's the sensation that I get. That's the taste and kind of the smell from all of that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on now.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of our electromagnetic nature.
Yeah. Which reminds me, when I was in Peru, when I walked through a doorway, as soon as I walked through a doorway, I tasted that and I went, I just walked into a different dimension. What is that taste? And everything started going whoop, 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 and I walked into another dimension. It was that same taste.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. That this is going to reach the ears of somebody else that's had that experience, and they're not going to understand what the heck they had. All of a sudden they heard Robin talking about it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Because these concepts are, beyond what we've been conditioned with. And if you're not open to the idea that there's something greater and grander than you, you're just always going to be stuck. There's a small handful of people around me right now that are stuck. And oh my God, it's not exasperating. I don't want to say that. They're souls that need, guidance and direction, but they are awakening at such a rapid rate. One of them was last April, and this poor guy's on a tear. But what he's been advised along the way has muddied up his field big time. And there is a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared there to reset whatever you think you are, because he's got an idea of something grand. And to me, when I listen to it, it's like your ego is just screaming. And you know what I say about that? Okay, I don't need to deal with yours. I'm trying to tame my own. I don't have time for that. But at the same time, you can tell his heart is where it's supposed to be. But holy cow, there's a lot of karmic cords there that I can see, man, need to be cleaned up. And that's not my job. Yeah. So it gets frustrating when he still wants to press and find out what's going on with him. Do it until you really clear all that mess. I can't be of service to you because I can't tell you what you're supposed to do next. Yeah. You're among people here that can share the experience, but I'm telling you, your field has been really muddied up with a lot of stuff that it doesn't resonate with me, but that's not me. I'm just the observer here. I'm not you.
Yeah, I really feel that when we get down on the bottom of the floor, the bottom, and realize that we are nothing, and then we can build upon that and realize what our trueness really is inside. Because then we can see the light from within. But we have to shed everything else on the outside to find what's inside.
Yeah, that's really easy to say.
I know. And it really is. Because we build upon that, and I know it truly is. But we build all of these things up from birth. And I find now, after my brain surgery back in 2017 was kind of a blessing, because I found myself on the floor many times in tears because my life was shattered. And you go from one thing to another thing in almost a day. And then you have to really look at who you really are from the inside out, because it's ripped away from you. And not many people actually get that gift, because it truly was a gift in the long run, to not have to be it torn away from me. And not a lot of people get that gift. They struggle through shedding piece here and a shedding piece there. I just was like, nope, you don't get this anymore. You're going to start from the bottom. So, you know, when people learn to let go, it's truly a gift. You know, that saying of, you know, getting to the bottom of the barrel and busting out the bottom. There's a beauty in busting out the bottom. There's more light at the bottom.
You got to clear out a lot of stuff to make room for what you've been waiting for. And all that stuff is just like an etheric backpack you've been shoving this stuff into all along your journey and had karmic cords. I also heard some encouraging news this week that there was some wave of karmic relief that we had all gone through here within the last week or so as well. So if you feel a lightning in your spirit, it speaks to me that some kind of ancestral karma that we've been carrying was severed here by every one of us that are in the room. And those that are going to listen to this later are going to resonate, and they're going to feel the same thing. That, you know, as much as I tend to focus on the spiritual side of myself now and that connection to higher things, I can't neglect, you know, my generational physical way that I got here too, and all my ancestors that were there, because they definitely left an imprint that I had to clean up, just like the rest of you did. So now that we've acquired our wisdom back and we see it for what it was, we can, you know, without them being here, because lots of them have passed on, and there's no way that we can really ask them to, you know, sever that cord. We know we can do that now. Mm-hmm. That's what Ho'oponopono teaches us, is how to completely just cut away those things with just love and light that we've sent in their direction. So when we're relieved, you know, we've met our obligation. You can't really speak for anybody else and how they handle things if we truly believe that they're sovereign beings, and we respect that in them too. And I do. Yeah. So all I can do is send you my light. If that's not enough, I love you anyway.
Exactly.
Namaste anyway.
Namaste away.
Mm-hmm.
Namaste away. So yeah, the trueness in all healing, you know, it doesn't matter how powerful of a healer any of us are. The trueness in all healing is each of us, and in all karmic cutting and karmic release of anything, is our readiness to actually set it down. You know, when you are ready to actually set it down, that's when you're healed. We don't have to carry it anymore. Just set it down.
Michaela, you started to say something earlier in the conversation, and I want to go back to whatever it was. Not that I don't love when Robin rants, but hang on.
I don't really know, Lowell, what was it? What we were talking about? I don't know.
Okay.
No, there's nothing from me now. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we'll call back on you again. Fatima, she's never at a loss for something.
Did you call me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first I wanted to thank Robin very much, and again you, Lowell, for your sharings, because your sharings are portals, are doors opening to new ways of thinking of how we feel and what our physical symptoms are, beyond what doctors are amazing as well, and hospitals, and they do their best. But we are going to higher octaves, and our stories are going also to higher octaves. So I haven't experienced what Robin or you, Lowell, experienced, but I have been experiencing a lot of dizziness for a while, moments and days that I couldn't almost stand up, but I would talk to myself and I would try always to ignore it. And then it came to a point that I actually made a call to a friend and said, what are those pills that you take when you're dizzy for the Meunier whatever syndrome? And I bought them, it was horrible. No. And I made and then I decided, no, I will give a command, because we are moving so much to make whatever, I don't know the word is matrix or not, It's like we are on high waves, right? On the ocean, on this boat. And what I've seen also the other day was like, okay, what we call the matrix. It's geometries around us, like elastics. So we are walking a certain way. And when something is holding us, we feel that elastic pulling. And you need to go to the end of the elastic and see what it is. It's sometimes many releases were ancestral and family, like we talked last time. And now there are others. But the point is, there is a very thin line between what is medical, going to hospital, or is not medical. And there is a power that is given to us to resolve in a certain moment. Are you going to decide that this is the old disease, or are you going to decide that you're being upgraded? And that makes the whole difference for the path that you take in your situation. It doesn't mean you don't go to hospital and you didn't get help, but your stories, what they told me is just be aware, because it's about awareness, know how powerful you are, and know you are being upgraded to higher states of being. And that's hard. That's not easy. That requires also sometimes some physical symptoms. They call it the physical ascension symptoms. There's not a book about it. We are all writing that book for the Akashic Records, right? We are writing our symptoms. And even if you have a symptom that you never heard of, write it down, because it will help other humans. That's what we all doing. So that's why I'm so happy to hear Robin's story, and also yours, Lowell, because maybe more people, when they listen to this video, will know that taste, the metal taste, the dizziness. I've heard stories similar to Robin's, and then they became so enlightened. They wrote books, they changed their lives. Another thing that is happening is that we're being taken to the bottom. When we resist something, and I talk about myself too, it was about money. It can be about health. We are asked to be at service, and to be at service every second. And that means we don't know where we're going. So that requires what? Humbleness, a dedication to the earth, to oneness, to humanity, and to everything, and to love, and to all these amazing things, and to our brothers and sisters in the universe. And then it's like, oh, yes, I know who I am. And then, no, I don't know who I am. Oh, yes, I know who I am. Oh, no, I don't know who I am. It's this Taurus in and out, right? And it seems like it doesn't make sense, but these contrasts happen in this movement that we are doing, right? That we are stepping forward. So yeah, this is another thing that I've been releasing this week. There is a theme, and the theme is competition. Competition is being changed into cooperation. And competition exists also in families, between brothers and sisters. The youngest one and then is born, and the older one feels jealous, whatever. There's competition in sports, there was Super Bowl, whatever. And then how do people that lose a game would feel? If you feel in your heart when you win, are you happy that you won, and then the others are feeling sad because they lost? So these kind of concepts, we need to revise. I mean, we have some time, but we, like you say, Lowell, we don't have so much time. But yes, so it's like there is no right or wrong. There is a lot of choice in this moment. How do you choose? This is really, really, really important. And remember, we are very powerful. We give commands, but we also on the hands of the universe. It seems like there is both things. And when we are at service, it seems like we lose our power. But if we give our power to the origin of creation, we are always safe. Even if we die, doesn't matter. We will go to Telos. We will go to a better place. We will go to paradise. We'll go to the other side to see our deceased ones there. All there, they said, we are as much alive as you are. Fear, is also being dismantled. Yeah, I'm going to stop now, but it was just a great start of conversation. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm going to ask Irene to say something next, but before we do, that whole, enlightenment charge that we're all getting, there's something really like physical, palpable about it. It's been really my intention to spend time talking about those things. Because when other people want to find out, what is it that you're talking about? How do I know what to feel? The more we can talk about what Robin's been through, what I've been through, you've been through, Michaela's been through, Irene's been through. Here they have a framework, because all they have is this physical vessel. And really what they've stuck between their ears in terms of information we've been conditioned with is not satisfying anybody's craving for understanding what the hell we're going through. That's a whole feeling thing. So that's beyond the five senses. They're trying to equate with the things that we know that just takes a whole different level of experience. Where you're totally in touch with your aura and that field, and it can expand, and what it affects around you and how it affects you. Once you really get control of that, wow, you're now a force to be reckoned with. You're just an extension of source now. You're not even just think of yourself as that seed that got planted in this biosuit. You are still source with all of its power once you finally realize you are that, because you are all that. Thanks, Fatima, for bringing that up. So, Irene, do you have some observations?
Oh, so much.
Go, girl. This is all you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I've been around for a while. So I was born quite awake. So I was born in 1973. And I think around 1976, I became more and more aware about myself. So it's been a while. So the joyful part about being alive right now is that I can look back at my life and I can see now very clearly the patterns, the awakening patterns. It's like the ocean. It's like an ebb and flow. You don't wake up. Some people are meant to wake up and then bang, their light is on and they're on target. That's not the standard. So just enjoy, try to, maybe not enjoy is not the right word, but really try to just feel within you. That's what I want to share with the audience that may, just start to, just tap into this. So try to really feel your heart and just feel yourself on the planet. And maybe I've said it before, but just realize, just look around and just imagine and see with your own eyes and with your own feelings and with your own maybe imagination what this planet may be about. How many creatures there are. And maybe you wonder, how is that possible? And why? And what's going on in the world? Isn't there some divine something going on? And then wonder maybe what part you may be playing in it. And just look at your life. What were your interests as a child? Because life gives you so many signs. And again, on the outside, there's so many distractions. And it's spending time in nature helped me really a lot to decipher, because I've been so aware as a child doesn't mean you're consciously aware of everything. Still, things don't make sense because it's a non-make sense world. It's crazy, seriously. And be happy in a way that you don't wake up like blasting away, because you like we all like more people share like Robin or Lowell. Your body cannot handle it. There's so much light. There's so much life force. It's impossible. So be graceful and gracious and happy and glad in a way that we have blocks, because it's part of a design, and it's like a gift that's still tightly wrapped. And like the more eager you are, you want to tear it apart, but the tearing apart is a body, where it's our body. So just be gracious, and when you're listening, it starts to open up and open up and open up. then your mind also starts to align with the wanting and the hunting part. When you start to listen, the hunting is like, oh my gosh, I don't need to hunt because something's coming to me now. And that's where our brains start to realign. And that's a process, and it's a dance, and that's what's happening with the planet. That's what's happening in the cosmos. And so, and maybe you start to wake up to like who you are in the stars, or and you still don't make sense. Like, I'm longing back home, but in truth, and maybe it may sound detrimental what I may say, but it's actually really beautiful because we're growing. So in a way, when it's the same when you grow up and you go back to your old home, it's not the same home because everything is changing. So when you want to go back home, it's not the same anymore. And the reason why is because we have these experiences accumulated. So home is where your heart is, right? It's what we already know. Home is where your heart is. And it's pretty scary because then it seems like, oh my gosh, I'm alone in this entire universe. I'm totally alone because it's nothing to do with your own family. It has nothing to do with even your spirit family, because you are your own cell, own individuated part with a unique experience. And it can be scary as hell because you need to balance, you need to find your way. But when you and this is the thing, and when you ask for help within, it's a really soft voice. It's really precious, and it's really guiding you all along. And the cool thing is, you forget about it and you go run and play and still want to make money and stuff. It's okay. We're in that sense, we're still children, with high, how high of an intelligence you are here on the planet. We're still children because our body is infant in a way. We have adult bodies now, but the DNA is still kind of infant, like an infant. So we need to be precious with ourselves and with one another, because we still are learning to program it, start learning to deal with it, and it's like in a way it's a feast and a hell at the same time. But the darker parts and the darker sides, it's not love and all love and light, because I had to learn the hard way too. And that's why I really waited for a long time to really open up and to be solid within me, to do even sessions with people. I've done it with people, that I know that are really, in a very safe way, and because I really wanted to be completely there for a person and hold space. And it just takes time to integrate and incarnate here. And it's so opposite of what on the outside is saying, like rush, and it's happening now and we're already too late. But like, see it as we're in this ocean. When you're on an ocean and when you're sailing or on a boat, and the wind goes there, the wind, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's really rocky. So on the surface, it gets really rocky. But if when you go out of the boat and you start jumping in the water and you go in the water, it's really silent. It's a different world. And it's the same with the feeling world. The inner world and the outer world can be completely different, but they're connected. So there's outside influences and there's inner, but the inside is always at peace, is always in harmony. That's where the source essence is completely silent, or the divine mother, whatever you want to call it. It's all part of one thing. There's this inner silence, but it's not numb, it's not terrifying, because it holds all the information for you, designed specifically for you. You don't need anybody else. But the cool thing is when you forget, and that's why we're interacting with one another. That's why we learn from one another too, because it would be completely boring if you were totally alone, right? That's why Source separated itself in us. We are the representatives of Source here. Source is not coming just down, like falling from the sky, and we're like we as humans have a source experience. So it's not happening to us. It's happening through us. And
While you
go ahead.
describe your experiences, I just keep seeing, and I equate that experience with just, I find the flow.
Yeah.
Whatever motion the universe has put me in the middle of, I can feel that energy. And when I just surrender to it, holy cow, I'm not fighting anything anymore. That illustration a few years ago was put into my head. And it was like when you get into a river, you're going to fight the stream and try and swim upstream, or you're just going to lay back and just let the river take you where it's supposed to take you. It took me a long time to stop fighting. But now that I understand that, I understand what that means when I feel the energetic flow of the stuff around me and everything that comes with that. So tune your vibration into the things that you want to feel and find the flow. It's simple and it's difficult all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's easy when your mind is right and your being and the setting is perfect for you to just go and let the universe let you wander where you wish. But it's, how do I get there again? What was the process that quieted myself so much that I could reach that? That's the trick. So when Irene was talking about it, I didn't talk about this much, and then I talked about it with friends that I knew. Here is where you're honing your craft, pal. That is really the purpose that the tribe serves. We get to help you audition what you're going to tell others in a safe environment, and just keep practicing with it with us. And along the way, you're sharing revelations that none of us had before. And look what we came away with. So there's messages we get from you all the time, but you're just getting better at telling the story, because you're about to tell it to people that aren't as easy an audience as we are.
Yeah, and I'd like to add a little extra just to kind of like culminate what we're all talking about, because it so resonates with what I've been experiencing the last couple of days. Because you can be really in a high, I mean, like, oh my gosh, I'm in a flow, but we're not in the perfect world, because you can like smacked in the face sometimes. Me too. And it's okay. It's like children on the playground. Sometimes you get a push from a person. Now I don't take it so seriously anymore. Whereas before I could be crying like, why are you doing this? Now I realize, oh my gosh, this is the playground. It's okay. And why I'm okay now? Because I can get myself up. I'm my own parent. I can get myself up. I can tune in what's going on. Is it me? Is there something for me to learn? Is it their energy? Is it mine? I feel in a more comfortable place. And also talking about a lot of fear, also with the earthquake that has been going on. I think these are the little triggers, or little big triggers actually, that are working through our subconscious. And it's all our ancestry, but also the Earth's history and the history of humanity that we're still kind of re-experiencing over and over again. And the reason why is because we're still integrating them, and means healing these wounds. The beautiful thing is, if these fears come up, because they can. I mean, yesterday morning I had a crazy nightmare, and I was just, it's in my body, it's real. I've been freaking out. I have to tell you, and I had it several times. And I've been off. The first day I was kind of off for a day. And then yesterday I felt like, okay, now I'm getting a handle of it. Okay, I know I'm freaking out. I'm okay. I feel better now. Let me look into it. Because when you look into it and you come from this feeling of grace, your eyes, they become like they become sensors, but your eyes are like source energy. And when you can just feel it, it's kind of like you wrap yourself around it. And that's where it comes back to wholeness. The fear dissolves because it's like it needs to find its way back to source, and it's happening through our chemistry of our body. And it takes some time. And if you need help, please reach out. I did that when I was younger. And trust that you'll find the right people. Intend for you to find exactly the right people, even if you don't even understand why it's exactly this person and not that. Trust it. Trust it. Thank you.
Hi, Paula.
Hello, tribe. Good to see you all.
Do you have
Sorry I'm
anything you
late.
wish to offer?
Sorry?
Have anything you wish to offer?
Oh my gosh, I just love listening, and I'm sorry I'm late. It's been a busy morning. I'm just so grateful for you all. I'm so grateful for the tribe. I just love receiving the messages in our group. I've been so I received an email from the Bigelow Institute. You received it as well.
I did.
And what's interesting is, of which I know you and I, how we are. We present what we're experiencing and offering and say, what do you think? And then somebody says, oh yeah, I resonate with that. Or somebody says, oh, I don't resonate with that. And you're like, okay, good. Then you just know, and you move on, right? And so,
Right.
And then just through the interaction alone, you enhance awareness for yourself of what's going on and what other people are doing. And then people are aware of what you're doing. You never know in the future what might be, because the universe doesn't waste anything. They don't waste anything. No. They use everything efficiently. And I say us, as part of the whole universe. But I've been making some other really interesting connections, again, more with the people that are spiritually aware and spiritually minded, but they're also running very high profile businesses. Like I'm finding that met where I'll be honest with you, for myself, it's always kind of been hardcore business. And then there's the spiritual community, and we never see ourselves marrying. And right. I'm seeing a beautiful mesh. I'm meeting people that have a beautiful mesh of the two that are very effective in a positive way. So I'm doing some learning and some exposure of my things with people like that lately, which is interesting. I don't know where it's going yet. I feel like something is birthing in me through it. And that's all I can say about it right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, when I got the response back, it was neither here nor there. But you and I kind of looked at it like that from the beginning, that it wasn't going to change any of our trajectory, that in fact, it may have become a distraction. The more that I looked into it, and the more it coincided with a news clip that was run that had Mr. Bigelow in it and referred to, who he was and what he was doing. And he's a huge government contractor. And so when I sat back and I analyzed what he was doing, there was part of me that played out a timeline thinking that, well, wait a minute, is this guy just flushing out some other people that may be connected? Maybe this whole process could be to do that. Maybe the government really wants to find out what's really on the pulse of what's going on out there. But even Dave says, the people that he knows that are with NASA, and even those are with SpaceX, the government contractors, how they find out about what's going on? Yeah, they're listening to us. That's how they're finding out what's really going on. Oh God, yes. Oh, the people that work for the government, they're going through the motions because they're no more awake than any of the rest of us.
No,
so when they want to find out what's going on,
they're not in the right vibration to receive.
Right.
I can see that. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It is what it is. Yeah, to be honest, when I first received it, I said, I don't feel connected to it, But then the second time it came around, then I'm like, gosh, maybe there's something there. And then, in fact, as a medium, I was asked to, among several other mediums together, to give a reading for Leo. And I'm like, what is the pursuit on this? And then, kind of getting, not interested or whatever, But but it's almost like they want it's like a traditional research thing where they're like, here's our parameters and we want you to come in and fit in that box.
Right.
Well, what if the wisdom that truly needs to be heard doesn't fit in your box because you're not of that wisdom to know what you need to know?
Well, here is exactly the point you just made, was the exact one. And when they hand out grant money, like anything else, if you've ever been involved in the process, they need to show an ROI on their investment when all of this is done. So without subjects within the parameters of our program that we can point to that had these things while they were on our dime, that's what they're trying to satisfy. And Paul is exactly right. That is not what's going on here.
No, we have our own covenants that we have to be loyal to, and we won't breach that just to fit into that paradigm that they're looking for. And if they're looking for people that are looking to fit into their paradigm, they're going to be limited as to what wisdom they can receive. And as far as I can tell, all the wisdom in the world has been given to us. If there's any wisdom, there's a gap between the knowing of what to do and then the doing. Right? There's the gap. We've been given thousands and thousands of years of wisdom. And then the application has been the issue, right? Consistent application. Anyway, but it's again, for some reason, and you and I spent all of maybe, I don't know, an hour on it. Other people spent a lot of time and energy putting together proposals. So,
well, here's the difference in my mind. They had a strategy and an objective to, get money for this. And it's not that, there are sponsors coming our way, tribe. There are sponsors coming. My guides have been telling me that all along. So it's always reminding me, don't focus on energy in terms of finance. Oh, it's going to come. You ride the flow. You've seen it come and go into your other life. And so there's no doubt that it's going to come now too. And man, I've been listening to tarot over the last 2 weeks, and it's going to flood in this direction. Flood. So it's just tools for us to get our job done to the next place so that we don't have to worry about, how do I meet the expenses when the universe has some other things and it wants us to do. And send us places that we don't even know where it's going to send us. But I want to be able to drop it and go at a moment's notice if that's what you wish for me to do. Look, you brought me this far, and you didn't give me these tools for reasons, and you weren't going to make me stop because energy that I needed in terms of what propels the third dimension. You were going to give me those tools too. And by the way, it's my birthright. Remember that? Yes, just send the abundance my way. Show me where you're going to give it to me along the way. But I'm no different than anybody else. And I already believe that this is coming my way. So I've already given you a very detailed idea of how I'm going to be using these funds in a very philanthropic way. Then here is the blueprint that we want to show others. Whether they get it or not, this is the way that we roll. And here we are.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. Yeah, you can't breach your standards. Otherwise, you won't attain, your purpose in this lifetime. You have to hold strong to it and locate the people that can bring you up and maybe you can learn from. I'm still learning. I feel like I'm eternally going to be learning. And I'm learning things that are outside of my comfort zone, which is that's where I need to be. If I'm not comfortable with something, I need to get comfortable with it, to be a holistic person. And I mean in a positive way, not, with doing good, more good and more in the direction of what I feel. Like you said, you weren't popped into Talos for nothing. It's like, here you go. Here's a little tour. Now go upon your life now, Lowell. Go back to what you were doing. Go, right? Like,
without
purpose.
touchstones that could help me put that in the more, to me, it's a magical experience. I won't forget. Most others now can kind of cling on to it, but it was yeah, that reminded me. And I'd written some notes, after the last time we spoke, between the holidays, but there was a seed that was planted there. Something was put in my field that I went to tell us. And that's why people know that I'm authentic. That's whatever it is. And you get a sense of these things that are greater than you. You just get a peace and serenity about the situation. You just know that that's the way that it is. Apparently, I got that while I was in Telos, and I carried that. But you can see how when you're just driving this bus right here, you don't really see what effect that has on yourself or on others until later on. Just like Irene says, you get down the road a little bit, and now that you can look back at situations, oh, that led to that and led to that. And that's how I got here. That's how these people all got here. Don't you wish that you could see into the future so that you knew it? Well, yes and no, because I'm still creating it as I go along. Yes, my next thought is going to blanch where I want to go next. And I didn't know what I didn't know now a moment ago. So that's why I say just be really careful about listening to people that are telling you what's going to happen in the future. Could very well be their timeline and what they projected in their field of probabilities, but I'm not sure that that represents the collective. And again, kind of in charge of my own ship right here. And so I got some different thoughts that I really want to propel in the direction I'm going in. So believe more in your internal clock. It's the one that's been screaming at you all along. And I know I'm just singing to the choir here, but this is for everybody else that's not in this chat room right now to hear that you are a master of something right now. And we're just kind of begging you to figure out what that is and focus your attention on it so you can share it with the rest of us. Any last thoughts from anybody? Go ahead, Michaela.
Yes, it is finally here. I try to put in the words. These few days, I was quite stable. I didn't have any big energetic shifts or something like that. But there was really this topic present that we are expanding. And it is really important to be true to what we are supposed to create here. Because many of us have various possibilities of what to develop. Like you said, you could do videos, but maybe you can ask someone else who can do it, and you can do the really thing that you are only you can do. So it is also about cooperation. As Fatima was saying, it is not about competition anymore. We are here to cooperate, and it is very fulfilling to see that we can form this alliance when everybody is doing his right thing, and we can, So yes, for me it was these past days were really about thinking about what is really the service that I need to develop, or what is really the path, because I'm also visual artist. I'm doing some physical artwork like sculptures and things like that. I'm even trying, even starting to do fashion. So, I was thinking and I know all of that is successful and can be even more successful, but what is really the thing that I should invest my energy into? It's not anymore about building some business, or I don't know, prove to myself or to someone that I can succeed. It is not about that anymore. It is about really investing our energy and our attention into the right development of the qualities that we can offer, that are really unique and that are really pure and true to ourselves. So this was really a topic for me, and it is still present and still evolving. But I really decided to take only the true path, whatever it may be. And it can be, of course, usually the path is where the passion is, or also where the fear is, where you need to step out of that comfort zone, like I am talking here now. I really, I was not this kind of person that would talk publicly on YouTube or something. Really, that was not my intention. But yeah, you really helped me, Lowell, by creating this space, and I feel like I'm growing inside it, and I'm getting more and more courage to share, and I hope it has some use. Yeah, so just like, yeah.
That was my purpose for putting this platform together, then man, I hit a home run. I was talking about that in terms of Irene and her experience, and where we're just getting comfortable among people we can have these conversations with. You're honing your skills because you're going to tell these stories to somebody outside of this orbit quite soon, and that's just going to spawn. And you can tell what ripple effect it's going to have, because someone's going to tell about you to somebody else, and that person's going to want to find out about you. So watch it all unfold. I'm glad to hear, Michaela, that you're getting more comfortable with sharing your experiences, because the audience is going to change, and they won't be your friends that you had here last Saturday. It's going to be new people that are hungry, and they heard you and something was authentic about your voice when you told that story, or when they saw one of your sculptures, which is how Michaela became endearing to me in the first place. Is when we started, I don't know how our paths crossed, and it really doesn't matter. I was in the middle of Blue Cobra energy and understanding what Kumu told me that I was carrying, and that girl had just finished a statue of a serpent. Now, she doesn't do serpents, but this one she did. And when she showed it to me, it resonated like crap. So we knew that there was something else that Michaela and I had shared long before this, and agreed to come along and cross paths here. But she's got some gifts that need to get out there. Yes. So we need to help people share the things that you've got, because they're freaking endearing. And there's just a sacred quality about your little sculptures that, if you haven't seen them, the people in this tribe, put them in the
Okay.
in the group, in the
Mhm.
Toth group, so people can see them there, because they're awesome. Okay, there's something more magical about them. Just it's something that's pretty that you sit on the shelf. It's not that. There's some energy there that are amazing.
Yeah, definitely they are alive. Many people say that they really are beings, and they are like companions and guides for them. It is, it is really wonderful work for me. However, I still am open to leave it, if the time will come and I will be called to something else, even though these things really works, as to say, but we never know. Yeah, and it was really wonderful as I shared the statue with you, because I think it was right in the first email that I wrote you, and I just immediately felt like I need to show you this. And those are those little signs that we recognize each other by, like those are the
call
little
those
details.
Unsolicited messages that you can't ignore. Yep.
Yes. And those are like, it can be anything. You can for example, see a jewelry or some symbols on someone, or you can see some color like the Arcturian blue, or the rainbow colors, or if someone has a business and has a logo and you just recognize something in the logo, that's how people recognize each other. And those are many times those are things that are not possible to express in words. Like a snake, what a symbol is that? You can really put into words what that means. Or a rose. Yeah.
That's right. Well, any other thoughts before we wrap this? Okay, Fatima, and then Irene, you can wrap. Honey, okay?
Nobody wants to go. No, while we were here, I went to Michaela's Facebook. I don't have Facebook, but I was able to see the images. They seem very connected to Earth. I love them, and they seem really alive. They look like goddesses. And it's your you're bringing these goddesses into this format. You're giving them life. That's what I felt when I looked at them. Another thing I wanted to ask is the video that Lowell mentioned at the beginning, if we can find it somewhere. And then another thing that I just wanted to say very quickly is about art and creativity that we need to dismantle, is that everybody is creative and everybody's capable of creating art. And for example, behind Paula, there is an abstract kind of painting. It's amazing. I love it. And it doesn't matter if it's figurative or not. I have friends who say, no, I cannot blah, blah, blah. Because, when you're a kid, you say, you don't color out the lines. We can color out the lines. Why are your images, Michaela, really amazing? Because they come from your heart. They are true to yourself. And that's what you said. It's very, very true that what we're going now, we need to have the courage. And Archangel Michael is very good to give us that courage. We need to be courageous enough to express who we are. And you can paint with your hands. You can just choose colors, but express, because creativity is part of the new, whatever we're going, new earth, new states of being. And it's our soul. We are creators. So we are we have creativity inside of us. And that's healing for the soul. And these boxes that you are actually creating out of the boxes that we were talking about, we create this alliance that Michaela talked about. I love that word. He said alliance. Yeah, we are creating an alliance. Yeah, we are creating these flowers of life in our circles, like this circle, by being who we are and expressing who we are. Yeah. So bring your passion. Everything is right. There is no ugly art. Okay. Everything is amazing. It's just what I wanted to say. Please create and don't be shy. Yeah. And Michaela, yeah, your video, waiting for it.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Yeah, this is wonderful. The video, actually, I think Lowell was mentioning, it was our podcast that we are doing with my friend who's a music composer. And it is, so far, it is only in Slovakian and Czech language. So I can share,
matter.
but there's really nothing to understand maybe so far, but we are preparing the English version, so it will be
okay.
hopefully it will be in English also. And it is on YouTube, and I think Lowell was mentioning that there is some beautiful animation in the beginning, at the beginning of the video, which my friend created. So yeah, that's the thing.
They'll understand the vibration of you, the essence of you that's coming through, even though they won't understand the language.
Yeah, I think you can surely enjoy it in some way, but because there is really like wonderful scenic music, like the guy is really talented. And yeah, maybe it can be, I was thinking when Lowell is listening to this and he's like listening to his story in some other really foreign language, what kind of feeling must it be, it is like when you're listening to star language or to some language that you do not comprehend with your mind, but you are kind of understand maybe. Yeah, so I will share the link definitely. Thank you.
Can I ask you, did you say Slavic language? It's in
Slovakian, like Slovakia and Czech Republic, so we made that two versions in Czech and Slovak language.
I was wondering, have you ever heard of Mira Amerzel Mirit?
No, not yet.
Okay, she's from that area. She also produces fabulous metaphysical music. So I was wondering if you're connected with that, but she's a breatharian. She literally has not eaten food in like 10 years, but she's also a musician.
Yes, I know about, yeah, that's nice. I know about one breatharian couple he's a Czech and she's a Slovakian. And they are living, I think they are living in Canary Islands or something like that, but it's not them, it's someone else.
Yeah, I don't know, but it says the wisdom beyond thoughts and audible sound. So also she says that there's something very metaphysical about that part of the world that she taps into with her music. So I'm excited to hear your video.
Yes, it is a really, really interesting part of the world. It is kind of sleeping, but yeah. There are many highly talented people.
Irene?
Yeah, I love how the topic of creativity shows up, because that's what we are. And
Mhm.
what I love to add is I really understand, especially in these times of so many changes and energies coming in, and where do you stabilize, right? Is it like, are we getting more lighter? Is it, that's been my question. I've been, my original profession is I'm a goldsmith, but I didn't do too much with it because I became very metaphysical in a way. To me, it was more about the alchemy. But then, so I've been always kind of like struggling, like, in which level am I working with the goldsmithing, right? But like now, finally, because I had so much unrest in me, so I only did it here and there. I've been so invisible to everybody, and I've been a painter, self-taught painter, and I've heard so many remarks from people that is so amazing, and I didn't feel amazing. I felt like not stable in my body yet, and I really have been considering, because as I quit my job in October, whatever, funny job, nothing job. You know, all of a sudden, the moment I say stop, everything comes to me, and it's also about the abundance what we talked about. I've been so blessed with amazing friends because I wanted the right people. I wanted the true people to meet in my life. So ask for the true people that really serve you, that you're part of. And one of my friends always said to me, you know, because you don't walk a regular path, it's courageous. And she says, trust that you're always being divinely provided for. And that stuck in me. And I just knew I'm going to the US and I have zero money on my account. I'm just living by day, you know? And the moment it's like you're on, thousands of dollars come in, or euros in that case, or guilders back in the time. We were the euro. And I could just leave in 2 weeks. And, you know, it's been a story of my life. And sometimes it's time to be more stable and do the regular life. So it's an ebb and flow. And I feel at this time, what came to me about the creativity, like for me, I've been kind of doubting to create paintings or not, and what shape should it be, just coming from inside. And I sometimes it feels like it should be bigger, but then it's like, oh my gosh, it's so big. How am I ever gonna print it and all the details? And I'm like, now, don't even worry about it, you know. Just and now it becomes this stabilizing phase where I can just trust. And okay, I can create, even if it's oil paint. I don't need to necessarily make a digital painting. There's a place for everything. And if you feel like working with clay, and well, maybe everybody's going digital, just trust it, because we leave these artifacts and we're still on the planet, we're still of Earth. It's doing something. We're still collaborating with it. We're still kind of like reviving the Earth in the other densities. We're activating it as well, and we work with it. I've seen it with the silver also, working with crystals. People said, you know, when you told me like 25 years ago, when you hold a crystal, she said, I can feel the texture structure changes. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So everybody is having these, you know, maybe you don't even know what you wake up in other people or what people wake up in you just by creating it. It's another form of communication. So just trust, and why don't you do everything, do it all, you know, do this and that, and just make it a dance. So that's what I wanted to share. So,
Well, I'm going to leave it right there then, because that's a good thought to just kind of conclude with. Michaela, did you want to offer something else before we go?
No, I just wanted to thank Irene. She's wonderful. Yeah, I agree. It is good to do various things if it's a dance, if it's not overwhelming.
exactly.
Yeah.
Irene, where on the planet are you again?
The Netherlands.
Netherlands. Thank you, ma'am.
I do
Go
want to
ahead,
say,
Robin. Here's your
that-
shot.
yeah, I do want to say that angelics are saying to remember that anything that's coming through us in our creation is our divine essence. And like Irene is saying, to allow it to flow into whatever divine creation that it decides to come out in. And that is our divine essence. And that is why Michaela's sculptures have such vibration within it that people are feeling, because it is her divine essence that's pulsating from that. And so they're very adamant that our everything is our divine pulsation that comes directly from source, that pulsates through us from our divine core of our heart down outward. That's
Okay. All right, gang. I'm going to wish you all a good Saturday, and I'll see you here next week, if not before.
Thank you.